Okay, we line the pans in order. This is forest. This came from my farm. This is a no-till farm with cover crops. His name is Dale Richardson. He uses cover crops all the time. This farm is a really small percentage of the United States that actually are using cover crops and no-till continuously, Roger, religiously, Mark Steele. And when I mean cover crops, you never, ever leave the ground bare. That's what I'm talking about. You just never do that. This is a properly grazed pasture, right in the back. This is a sacrifice area, overgrazed, overutilized, heavy traffic, okay? This came from an organic farm in Colorado.
Okay, this is the pan. You can see how thick it is. About 1.5 inches. Got all kinds of holes here for water to get through. All right.
So what we're gonna measure runoff and infiltration. We're gonna talk about these 4 processes that the earth does all the time. First one, capture sun, photosynthesis. Camille, how can I determine if a farm is capturing sun or a ranch? What's the first thing that we should observe as we walk into the field? How much of the surface area is covered? Critical. Number 2, if you have no photosynthesis, you're not going to have an effective water cycle. Water cycle, cycling water. Number 2, no water cycle, no nutrient cycle. 95% of all nutrient cycling comes from the soil microbes. The last process, Rebecca, is biodiversity. Insects, animals, humans, we're part of that biodiversity. Biodiversity. One of the biggest struggles we have in agriculture is bringing diversity of plants and animals into the system. This sucker rain. Okay, so what we see on the top, the runoff's going to be measured on this one, and the infiltration is going to be measured here. Notice when the rain comes, and it's coming at 15 to 20 miles an hour from the sky. Not bad. We haven't even put half an inch in at all. And what are you observing on the organic in the front containers? If you're talking millions and millions of acres, Nick, what's the impact of that? Is this have an impact on the climate? Yeah. Yes.
Why we chose forest, because this is not disturbed at all. All right. Notice the infiltration. Okay, this is the runoff. So this when Ray talks about biomimicry, this is what we're trying to mimic. This kind of soil right here.
Okay.
Notice the color of this compared to the runoff on an organic farm because of heavy tillage.
What do we mean? Look at the forest. Architecture, different plants, diversity, different levels, capturing sun. Is there tillage in the forest? Yeah. How does aeration happen in the forest? How do you aerate soils in the forest?
Worms and roots.
Worms,
and
roots, mesofauna, the beetles, all them critters. You see these? Are the aggregates, those little BBs?
Yeah.
That happens in the forest. Microbes, fungi, bacteria, living roots, they create these. So you know what hurts these? Tillage, over-fertilization, too much manure, compaction, poor rotations, overgrazing. Pretty much everything you do.
That's the infiltration. Okay? And we might say that the concrete here infiltrated just about as much. Wow. Okay, so this is the cover crops and no-till. So take a look at this. And we did have some runoff, but look at the infiltration rate. Wow. So this is living roots 365.
And we put an inch and this is how much rain we put. A little over an inch and a quarter.
So I can handle an inch and a quarter, okay. That soil can handle it. From a farmer in Mexico, said they got 4 inches. They'd got an inch a night. Said it was fantastic, wonderful. He said, however, my neighbor who conventionally farms, he said he can't even get to his farm because it washed the road out. Now, the exact same rain, two different management styles. One of them is rejoicing, the other one is happened to dig his way in. Properly grazed. This comes right from Ray's farm. Look at the runoff on properly grazed. Isn't that sweet? Look at the infiltration. Notice.
Have I overgrazed? Yes, because I totally was not intentional, especially in a drought. How many of us are prepared in a drought? Raise your hand. How many of us have a drought plan? I don't. But you know what? This year I do. Right, Jeremiah? We've experienced drought, and you get your face wet.
You see the runoff? By leaving it alone, by letting it do its thing.